Good afternoon and welcome to Tortilla Talk. I'm your host, Dylan, and with me today is Nick, Troy, and Dallas. Troy, how are we doing today?
Oh, okay, good.
It's been too long, Dylan. Glad to be back.
You know, it is good to be back. It's been a while. Dallas, pleasure to have you.
Hey, as always, thank you for having me.
And Nick, floor is yours. How are you?
Yeah, thank God we had to take two on this. Let me tell you a story real quick. So thank God we're doing these podcasts again because idle hands are the devil's playground, as it were. And without this podcast, I dove back into collecting Pokemon cards. And can I tell you something? I bought a like a collector's thing, and I thought it was just going to be a box, normal size box, something I didn't have to tell my wife about. And it shows up on the front porch. It's about the size of a rifle. And Britt says, "Hey, what was that package?" And I was so startled by how big the package was that I just lied. I said,
You should have told her it was a gun.
I don't. It was like,
Yeah,
I was like,
I bought a gun.
I bought a rifle for protection. She was like, "Was that for the baby? Because we're having a baby." And I was like, yeah, it was for the baby." And then the next day, I come out of my man cave and I say, "It wasn't for the baby." And she's like, "What was it?" I was like, "I don't know why I lied, but it was Pokemon cards." Anyway, long story short, it's not what I thought it was. It's a very big thing. So pretty cool. But yeah, thank God we got this podcast back because I was starting to make some odd purchases. So
Yeah,
glad to be back.
I can definitely vouch for Nick there. I think we were with him about a week or two ago, and he was in trouble for not doing his chores, which included not cleaning up his Pokemon cards. So it's definitely been deep in the Pokemon cards, it sounds like.
See these things? This is part of what came in my package. Don't know why I need them. Yeah, don't know why I need them, but I got them. So
Well,
yeah,
there we
good.
go.
We're back, baby. We're back.
Well, we're so back. We're going straight from Pokemon cards to Texas Tech basketball, guys, because, hey, Texas Tech basketball recruiting back on track with a big pickup of JT Toppin. I finally have faith in the season now. Dallas, I'll throw it over to you. How are you feeling now with the Red Raiders?
I'm excited, man. This is probably the biggest pickup, I think, in the transfer portal that I can think of. I have high hopes for JT Toppin. He's been working on that three-point shot, and if he adds that, I see a Bryson Williams-esque type season for him next year, but even more dominant on the boards. So we'll see. He's a young guy, but I've got high expectations. Hopefully he's a one and done, and we can have another Red Raider getting picked in the first round next year.
Dallas, real quick, just follow-up question on that. I know he didn't end up the way we wanted him to be at all, but do you feel like he's a better pickup than when we got Fardaws?
Yeah, I mean, especially considering Fardaws' foot was broken when he signed. So,
okay.
Yeah, he better be better than Fardaws.
Well, right. But I mean, just the excitement level, because at the time, let's not forget, we were all very excited about that.
So Fardaws was, I think, higher in the transfer portal. I'd have to check, but the transfer portal wasn't also as big as it is now. And there's a lot bigger names. So
I was about to say, yeah, there's a lot more talent right now than there was when he was in it, it feels like.
Yeah. Okay. Toppin's going into next year considered one of the guys that, if he has a good season, could rise into like a lottery-esque pick. And Fardaws was not looked at that like at all. So I think it's a bigger pickup than him.
Cool.
Yeah. And Nick, I'll throw it to you since it sounds like you're trying to taper expectations with that question. Where's the confidence level?
Yeah, I mean, you know me, Dylan. By the end of the season, by the beginning of the season, it's going to be confidence level just dumb. I think we've been posting it on Twitter, but I just try not to OD on Kool-Aid. The only concern for me being a type 1 diabetic is I could actually OD on Kool-Aid. So it's not funny when I see those tweets. I get nervous. But But we'll see. We've talked about this. I know everyone loves Grant McCaslin. That whole Baylor situation earlier this summer, I didn't like it. I didn't appreciate it. Let's hope we have a good season. If we do and everything calms down and he likes it here, then I will start calling him Coach McCaslin again. But I've been pretty bullish on the fact that he's Grant in my eyes. He lost Coach McCaslin title in my opinion, just because how fleeting he was willing to be. I think there was smoke with him going to Baylor if Scott Drew left, which he didn't, so it didn't. But I don't like having to think about my coach leaving after a year. Complete opposite with Coach McGuire, who I would never call Joey because I have too much respect for that man, Coach McGuire. So
All right,
we'll see.
Hey.
I'm not excited, but cautiously optimistic. But again, by game one, I will be we live in San Antonio, so I'll be ready to make the drive down to the wherever they're playing at Alamo Dome, probably.
Yeah, well, I feel like you're going to have to get that excitement level up a little bit for Coach Gass. We're still all in on the guy. I mean, he's still the Red Raiders coach. He didn't leave. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to try to see if you can get a little bit of money here or there, but he's with us. Guy has an infectious smile. I mean, we love him.
Bill. I agree with you. Go get your money. I don't think this was a money thing.
Well,
that's why I feel differently. I don't think it would have been, hey, I'm just trying to get a little bit more money from Tech. I think it was, I totally want to leave. It just didn't work. Scott Drew just didn't leave. So I just, who's to say Scott Drew doesn't leave soon? Who's to say God doesn't tell Scott Drew this year that it's time to go?
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, it didn't happen, though. Life's a bunch of what ifs, Nick, but we're living in the reality in which we still got Coach Gass. We still got a good roster. Troy, a lot of turnover on this team, but we're looking at probably a top 25 team to start the year. How are you feeling? Hopefully a little more positive than the previous guy.
Yeah, man. Nick's a hater. My goodness, that didn't feel great.
You know what, Troy? I'm sorry. You know what, guys? Look, all right, you don't be so desperate. Okay.
Listen, we've all been hurt before. We understand that. We
need something to believe in.
Yeah, I know that, and that's my thing, dude.
He's the old ball coach, man.
I was ready to open it. Yeah, and I was ready to open up, and I did, and he already kind of hurt me. So I'm just not willing to do that right now with him. I got Joey, Coach McGuire. The man has my heart.
I know. He called him Joey. He said he would never do that.
Yeah, I know. I love him so much. I just feel like I'm
respect for him.
I just love him so much, man. I feel like I'm that close with him, because he wouldn't hurt me.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure national championship will fix everything. Dylan, what was your question? I just had to get that off the table.
Yeah, I just want to get your feelings, Troy. I mean, it's looking like a top 25 team most likely to start the year. A lot of roster turnover. How you feeling with the new look roster?
Yeah, I think relative to the roster turnover, I think we got better. Pop was the big loss, but you look at a couple of the guys that we got, 2 seniors, and then the 2 really good freshmen and now sophomores, but in Overton and Toppin, those guys are studs. And so who we replaced them with was really strong. Interested, last year we talked about this, was the size component. I know Dallas, we talked a little bit. We have, I think 2 or 3 more spots available. So curious what we will do in the with those pieces, but even with Fetty and Toppin, that's good athletic size. And so extremely excited about that. I feel better just with the athletes that we have. And so I definitely think we could be in the top 25. I always feel like people are kind of cautious to put Tech in the top 25 to start the season. But I think they're getting there if they aren't already in the top 25.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the roster's looking talented enough, and to your point, there's still moves to be made. Dallas, what's the play style going to look with this new roster? How do you think this team's going to want to go? And hey, are we going to be excited to watch some fun Red Raider basketball?
Oh man, I love the way Coach Gass has constructed this team. It's going to run through Hawkins, man. He's going to be the initiator with D5 setting screens for him, with Toppin setting screens for him, getting Fetty in the pick and roll. You'll have the same kind of like lob threat with him as you did with Warren Washington. But just overall, you'll have more size out on the floor and better chance to grab offensive rebounds. Fetty and Toppin were both elite offensive rebounders. So that was one of our big struggles last year. I think it's a huge strength this year. You're going to get better shooting all around. Your point guard Hawkins has had a season where he shot over 40% from three. I think he's a career like 37, 38% three-point shooter. So I see that being the way you get the offense initiated through him, and let your shooters make shots, and the big boys feast down low.
Sounds like your dog disagrees.
No, she's agreeing in excitement.
I mean, Nick, how are you not sold after hearing that? I mean, a good shooting team.
I'm sold. We got a guy named Fetty Wap on the team. Okay,
Fetty Wap will get rebounds and have some putbacks.
Look, it's not the team, and it's not even Grant's ability to recruit. I opened up to him last year, and he was ready to leave.
You were skeptical the whole year. You weren't.
You opened up to Fetty Wap?
I listened to his stuff. Yeah, I listened to his stuff last year. It was pretty good. Look, I'm excited. I'm just not willing to call him Coach Gas yet. I did. I called him that, and it felt good. And you know what hurt? Wondering for a week if he was leaving.
Yeah, but sometimes
I'm not ready to be hurt right now.
You gotta be willing to jump in.
Look, I've got too much other stuff going on right now to worry about someone who might want to break my heart.
That's life.
That is life, but I don't need that right now. Talk to me in November.
Hey, what do we think about D5, Cambridge, and Walton, how they fit with this team? Does Walton's minutes get cut, or what do y'all think?
Not if he's an assassin from three.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talent around, so you would have to think that it potentially could. But, I mean, if Walton's going to be shooting lights out, I mean, there's definitely a spot for that, especially with the way we want to play. I mean, if you're running pick and roll and you have him wide open in the corner for a three, I mean, it's kind of how you want to do it.
If his growth continues, and obviously he got more minutes last year than the year previous, but if his growth continues from 2 years ago to last year to next year, he's gonna find his way into minutes. He's not. Again, if he grows like that, he might be a top 5 player on the team. Top 6, right? For sure. Let's not forget he went to North Carolina. He's got talent. He just has some things he has to work on, which he did last year. He got better. I thought his defense was better, right? And he did start playing off the dribble a little bit more, right? We saw him drive a little more last year. So if he will continue to work on that, I could see him being a real threat.
Yeah,
and then not to mention 45% from three, right? I mean, let's just
how you mentioned
and then
carves out a role for himself all the time. He really does that. Stays with it.
Yeah.
I'm a big Kerwin fan. I love that guy. I think he's great.
And then Cambridge, obviously, just going to see how he comes back and how he's feeling. All indications seem like he's recovering pretty well, right? But I mean, you truly don't know until you see live gameplay. But with him, we just have to wait and see. And then obviously, Troy, I'll let you go in on your boy D5. You could talk about him right now because I know that's really where you wanted to go with this.
Yeah, I did get an autographed ball from him from B-Run. Had to pull that trigger. He was my favorite incoming player last year, and so excited to see what he does. I didn't know what to expect because the last podcast we had, which I know was ages ago.
Troy, hang on. I gotta say one thing. And this is a complete joke because all these people are going to be professional athletes. But at the end of all this, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, Troy might have the most signed balls by the most used car salesman in the world.
No, from Enterprise employees.
Yeah, from Enterprise employees. He's got 15 balls signed by Employee of the Month at Enterprise. But damn it, did they have one good season?
You're damn straight.
D5's not going to be that. D5 is phenomenal, but Troy, I think you've had like 3 balls signed by freshmen that haven't even played one down yet.
I
For
don't
Tech.
plan on keeping all that. Listen, that guy's going to be Hall of
He
Fame.
is. Again, yeah. That was completely tongue in cheek, but it is funny to kind of think about.
Yeah, I just have a closet full of stuff that doesn't matter.
Hey, who was this?
Listen here,
He was
Pokemon
someone that never
cards.
played one down for Texas Tech. He transferred after half the year.
That is something you do have to worry about with the ball players now. It's like,
Yeah.
oh man, I should have waited this kid. I mean, Taj, you can buy in on Taj, but you know,
Yeah, you could buy in on Taj now. But Troy, you're buying in on true freshmen who haven't even maybe lived on campus yet.
Nick, no one said my logic was sound. All right, I'm hoping, I'm grasping at straws here.
Hey man, but those are the ones that pay off, right?
Yeah, hopefully we'll see. Let's
buy in cheap. Buy in cheap.
Yeah.
Troy's just sitting at home staring at a Nick Shimanek football, just waiting.
Who is that? Who is that linebacker that we got from Ohio State or a couple years ago?
Something Mitchell.
Yeah. And it just didn't work out for him. But like,
yeah,
he's from Ohio State. He's going to be great.
Yeah, I have his card too.
Yeah.
But Dylan, back the floor is yours.
Yeah.
No, I was curious how it was going to play out because I know the last time that we talked, we were saying Cambridge Pop and D5. We were wondering if D5 would take over some of the point guard duties, and now we have an absolute dog in Hawkins, and so I think obviously he's the one, and not that D5 can play like almost every position on the court, so I'm not necessarily worried about where he's going to go, but we have a lot of players that kind of fit the same mold, relative to size. And so it'd be interesting to see what he does. He's going to be great next year. So curious to see how that looks.
What about you, Dallas? How do you feel that the players Troy mentioned, how do you think they fit with the new look roster and what their roles that they're going to carve out are?
Yeah, I love D5 being able to play more at the 3. I feel like he really was starting to develop a really good post game, and just being able to go up against smaller guys there, I think will be beneficial. Cambridge, I'm interested. I assume he's coming off the bench unless they're going to start Toppin at the 5, but I don't see him getting a ton of minutes because unless his shooting is significantly gotten better, I think Grant's going to want more spacing from this team, especially last year. That was like the big improvement in the offense that really kickstarted things was when you inserted Walton for Cambridge. It sucks. It was because of an injury, but that took the offense to another level. I think with Walton having another year under his belt, getting a little bit stronger, try to get more explosive, play better defense. I think I'd rather have him on the floor, and especially like a guy like Overton does a lot of the things that Cambridge was great at with cuts to the basket. I think he was like top 95th percentile or whatever in the country in that. So I'm interested to see what kind of role they carve out for him. But a guy we haven't mentioned yet is a true freshman coming in, Christian Anderson. He'll be backing up Elijah Hawkins. And I think by the end of the year, he's getting up to 15 minutes a game. The guy is probably the best shooter of the 2024 class. It was an amazing get this late in the cycle. So a lot of talent. I think Grant can have a ton of fun with a lot of lineups.
Yeah, no, that's true. There's definitely a lot of options and a lot at his disposal. So,
out of respect,
I see you're coming to my side.
Well, okay. I don't know. I missed something, I think.
Dallas said Grant, huh? Dallas said call him Grant.
Last thing on Texas Tech basketball, I just would be remiss if I didn't mention our favorite Jeff Goodman. Happened to be talking about Tech the other day and made a point to emphasize the fact that Tech still has money to spend. And I know we kept hearing this whole offseason, Tech won't be outbid, Tech won't be outbid. Is this, I mean, the fact that he emphasized it, I'll throw it to you, Dallas, is this something to look into with the roster spots we still have? Or does Tech still have another big move under their belt?
I don't think so. I think that was in reference to Jalen Wells. Jalen Wells was going to sign here if he didn't stay in the NBA. I think that's what he was talking about. From what I've heard, there aren't a ton of rumors, but I think they're going to try to get maybe like a couple of like European freshmen or something, some more freshmen that might fill that gap, or some developmental pieces out of the transfer portal.
Wait,
so
you ready?
Yeah, where'd my guy Moretti go?
Hey, I'd take him.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I mean, I'm excited whether Nick falls in love or not with Grant.
You are missing the message.
And you know, I'm willing to get hurt if it means, you know, falling in love and feeling that
I'm in love
bliss
with
right
the team.
now.
I'm in love with the team. It's
But
the coach
I'm in love with the team from the top
holding
down.
out on.
But we'll go ahead and jump into pro basketball, guys. We have the NBA Finals set to start. We have the Mavericks and the Celtics. Full disclosure, before everyone gets a little mad.
Tag me
Nick, Troy, and I
are
all Boston Celtics fans.
Tag me in.
So, Nick, I'll start with you. What are your initial thoughts on this series?
Here's what I'm going to tell you, Dylan, and thank you. I appreciate that. It's about time the playoffs started. I've been sleeping until right now. That's how I was all playoffs. I was not worried. Okay, the Celtics are the best team by far. And if you're from Dallas and you don't want to admit that, that's fine. Do what you want to do, but don't tell me the Celtics aren't better. Okay, you have Luka, who we'll argue Luka Tatum, whatever. And I'll even give it to you. Luka's better, whatever. Okay, so then we have Jalen and Jason. All right, who Tatum Brown completely underappreciated. Then you guys have Kyrie, and then the next 4 or 5 players, the best players in this matchup, are all from the Celtics. So let's not act. I don't even. Who do you even have? Who's on your team? And don't even name any of them because I don't care. All right, we're not gonna sweep the series because the NBA wants more money. But just understand that if the Celtics, whatever happens, the Celtics, if they don't win, then we should just quit basketball, okay? Because this is not even the Celtics. It's their year, and I don't care. I don't care. So I'm glad I'll finally start watching. But the joke all playoffs amongst people I work with are wake me up when the playoffs start, because Celtics have just sleptwalked through, just steamrolling people. It was very charitable of us to give away a win to the Miami Heat and the Cleveland Cavaliers. You're welcome to those cities. And sorry, Indiana, that didn't work out for you. But this is just silly. It's just silly.
So it sounds like you would think sweep, but the NBA won't allow it. They'll hit the Scott
The NBA
Foster
won't allow
button.
sweep, Dylan. The NBA won't allow sweep.
Are they going to use the magnets and the balls again?
No, Dallas. It's simple. You just hit the Scott Foster button, the series extender. He'll blow every whistle the way he needs to extend the series. We all know that.
Yeah. Oh, Dallas, I'm sorry. Do you think something else?
I think there's magnets in the balls.
Well, yeah, right. But do you think that there's a chance in this world that the Mavs win? Here's what I'm gonna tell you. Have you seen the Marvel movies? You know when Doctor Strange does that shaky thing with his head, and he's like, "I've seen 7.6 billion different outcomes, and only one way Dallas wins."
Is that Rain Man?
He didn't even see that one. There is no outcome where Dallas wins this.
No, yeah, hey, you're talking to a Spurs fan despite my name.
Okay, just making sure. So,
Dallas, where were you born?
Dallas, but that doesn't matter.
Your parents weren't very couldn't get very creative, huh?
Look, it's a family name, okay? I think the more important news is a little birdie came across my desk today and said that the Spurs might be trading the 4th and 8th pick for the number 1 overall pick. So keep your head out for that.
Why would you want that?
Is this a strong draft?
No, it's not.
Look, we can get Wemby a fellow Frenchman.
Ah,
How do you feel about that? You think they're going to run away?
they just both go to
Run
France.
What?
They're French.
No, that birdie hasn't come across my desk.
I think Nick's going with an old war joke.
In the Dallas,
They're
hit
gonna
on the
retreat?
thing. Can you trust him in the fourth quarter down by 3?
Oh gosh, Troy, I'll throw to you. What are your initial thoughts on the series?
Yeah, I mean, Nick's confidence has me scared.
You're a coward.
Listen,
You're a coward.
Nick, I've been hurt before.
You're a coward.
I've been hurt many a times.
You're a coward.
And it was by this very Boston team. And so, it does feel like over the last few series, Luka and Kyrie have just popped off. And so I think that's helped with everybody in the nation starting to lean towards them a little bit. Obviously, Vegas has the Celtics favored. I think it was minus 188 or something to win it. So decent favorites. Open up at 6.5 point favorites.
They opened at minus 230.
230. Good for us. So it's being bought down. Yeah, I mean, they need to get one. Jalen and Jason. They have the better team. And so it'd obviously be extremely disappointing if for some reason we weren't able to pull this one out.
You sound soft.
What's with Porzingis?
Yeah,
where he
I definitely agree.
Well,
You agree with who, Dylan?
With Troy, that we need this because I'll tell you, if we lose to Kyrie, I will not be in a good headspace.
Yeah, no
This
kidding,
will not
guys.
be okay. this would be one of the harder things to take. But no, we've been a wagon the whole year. We're the best team. Celtics have far more talent than just Luka and Kyrie. To Nick's point, that's all they're throwing at us. I mean, at the end of the day, Kristaps has just been sitting there chilling, just relaxing, getting healthier and healthier. I mean, honestly, do we even need him to win the series? I don't know.
No. And I'm tired
Probably
of people
not.
saying we do.
But hey, it's good to have at our disposal.
That's right.
Both teams are kind of coming in off of pretty easy roads to the playoffs, and it's funny because they played tough teams, but they've made easy work of them. I don't know. At the end of the day, I just think the Celtics are too strong, and I think the opening series odds show that. Obviously, people are betting the Mavs down just to try to get the odds, but at the end of the day, the Celtics are favored for a reason. They're a lot better. Maybe 5 games, probably 6, so the NBA feels good about themselves, but Celtics should take this one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Well, guys, last topic here. The fellas, the boys, are going to Vegas together. Nikki, I'll start with you. You kind of organized this, put this all together, masterminded a little boys trip down there. What are you most excited for?
Let me tell you. This all started with a vision. Someone put the term in my head, bachelor party. Troy, appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem there.
We all know I'm going to be a father come August. So, yeah, we got to get the boys together. It started with one, old Dallas. Dallas just said yes, and then the boys kept rolling in. And now we've got 12 people going to Vegas. That is a motley crew.
It's just funny, too, with the different groups that they're all coming from.
Yeah,
Oh, it's insane.
yeah. It's from family to some really good friends to some brothers' friends. I mean, it's a wild, random group of dudes, but it's going to be a good time. What am I looking forward to, Dill? I'm looking forward to taking over a craps table with the boys. With 12 people, we'll be able to for sure take over a craps table. I don't play craps often, but with that many people, it'll be a good time. Blackjack. Time to dust off the old name, right? Nicky Double Downs. Can't help myself. This is the year, boys, that I don't give it back. This is the time I'm not giving it back. I have a habit of going up and giving it back. It ain't happening this time. tell you a little quick story. I was in Vegas a few months ago with Eric, and I said, "Hey, when I go up, I'm gonna go buy a watch. That way I can't put my watch on the table, right? So I'm not gonna lose it."
They would probably
you
take
will.
it. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Mr. Deminter, yeah, we'll take this. So I did go up quite a bit, but it was Friday night, Saturday morning, like 3 a.m. and the watch store was closed. So, woke up, went back to the table Saturday morning and said, "Well, let's just try to keep it going," and I gave it back. So this time that will not happen. We're gonna turn it into something, boys. So I've got a good plan in place. We're gonna have a good time. I also look forward to taking over that bar on Fremont that overlooks the concert venue. I'm excited for that. So boys are gonna have a good time, smoke some stogies, enjoy life.
Yeah, and Dallas, I know you've done a lot of research the last month or so. I've heard the term "can't lose" be thrown around. Dallas, have you cracked the code?
He has. Yep, I can vouch. He has.
Every team in the casino can be beat, and the boys are going to beat it.
I want everyone to hear that real quick. Did you see how the casino just made Dallas's Wi-Fi kind of cut out for a
I was
second?
about to say, Dallas, you got to say that again. I think the casinos cut out your they cut out your feed.
Okay. Look, people
So,
try
yeah.
to tell you.
Seriously, say it again.
Math. We're going up $1 million, and we're coming back, and we're going to buy all the 5 stars for Texas Tech football and basketball.
We will become the biggest donors of Texas Tech after this
We
trip.
will be an NIL fund.
Dallas,
We'll need more than
tell
$1 million.
them, tell the people about your roulette idea. It's foolproof.
Okay, so once you win, you make another bet that has higher odds, and then that will win. And then another bet with all the money that has even higher odds to win. That will then win. You keep doing this until you're sick and tired of winning money and taking the casino's money, and then you go buy a watch if the store's not closed.
We're going to be so tired of taking the casino's money, we're going to just give them some back. We're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to win so much, it's going to feel like we're in hell because we can't lose.
We're going to have to get
I'm
the
not
casino loan to stay open.
Right. They're going to have to take out a loan from us to stay open. And Troy, let me explain that joke a little bit more for you if you're not following along. Gambling is fun because there's a risk involved. The risk of losing, right? So when you win, it's very exciting. But if you constantly win and there's no risk, Troy's gone. If you constantly win and there's no risk, then there's no excitement. That's how much we're going to win. It's going to feel like we just can never lose. And then there's going to be no excitement. We're just going to go like this. Double down. Oh, 21 again. All right. That's how much we're going to win.
This is going to be the most boring Vegas trip in history.
To do the casinos a favor, we're going to change our last name to Bellagio just so they don't have to change their name to Deminter. But we will, in fact, own that hotel at the end.
Aren't they actually changing their name?
After this weekend.
What about you, Troy? What are you most excited for?
Jaylen Brown, points, rebounds, assists, first game.
Yes. The bet that keeps on giving for him.
Dylan, I know this answer. What are you excited for?
Oh, Nick, listen here. I'm going to disappear for a little bit on Friday, for a lot on Saturday, because the Belmont Stakes is this weekend, and I'm going to be at some kiosk somewhere watching
ponies
ponies.
in Vegas.
You already know it. Most excited for the ponies and Celtics. I will be all over that, having a good time doing that. So you already know. And then I don't know if I have a can't lose like Dallas does, but I'm confident I'll put together some winning tickets and it'll be a good experience.
Here we go.
I already
again-
gave you a can't lose.
What's up, Troy?
I already gave you a can't lose.
Jalen Brown. We don't even know the number yet. It's just not going to lose.
Yeah. Hammer it.
There you go.
It's all right,
Fair
though.
enough.
We can't all crack math like me or Terrence Howard did on Joe Rogan.
Fair enough. And here's the thing, though. To your guys' point, there's 12 of us. If all 12 of us just are doing this can't lose crazy math that Dallas has, I mean, guys, we're gonna get kicked out pretty quick. The casino only has so much money.
No, there's at least 12 casinos that we can share.
Well, I don't know.
They're gonna
There's only
catch
so
on.
much money.
Here's the thing. At the end of this trip, it's going to be Tekken Tortillas presents Las Vegas.
Well,
I know it's
guys,
funny.
on that note, it was a pleasure to be back, guys. It was good to see the fellas. Good to be together again. And thank you all for listening and tuning in. Again, this is Tortilla Talk presented by Tekken Tortillas. Please follow us on all socials at Tech Tortillas. Guys, as always, wreck 'em.
Wreck 'em.